There's also penalties that you could pay to your state as well if these weren't filed. And as always, that always flags you to get an audit. The IRS may be calling and like, hey, notice you didn't file these one year, you filed them another year, and all of this, we would like to come and audit everything. I've had instances where I had a CPA in the past that didn't like how I structured my company. And my thought was, I really don't care. I want to structure it a certain way. I talked to a legal advisor about how I structured it, and that's how I'm going to do it. What happens when it's time to actually file your return, and what things do you need to actually be aware of so that you don't have the IRS knocking on your door? Here are some red flags that your CPA may not have warned you about, and maybe that is the thing that you need to get rid of them, fire them, and find a new CPA. If your CPA has not warned you that you have to file 1099s, that's a problem. Y'all should have gotten an email probably starting in December saying, hey, would you like us to help you file your 1099s if you don't have somebody on your team to do it? If they haven't done that, then that's a big thing, because if you are first starting out your business, you may not know that you have all these 1099s to file. You may not be aware of the thresholds or all the forms that have to be gathered to be able to get to this process. And if you don't file them, there's IRS penalties that come. There's things that can be $500,000 and ridiculous numbers that the IRS will penalize you for if you didn't file these figures. There's also penalties that you could pay to your state as well if these weren't filed. And as always, that always flags you to get an audit. The IRS may be calling and like, hey, notice you didn't file these one year, you filed them another year, and all of this, we would like to come and audit everything. And you never know what's going to happen when they come and they want to audit. I've heard crazy stories, and I've heard hilarious stories, and I've heard ones where they're like, yep, everything looks great. So sorry you didn't make it on time. Here's your little penalty. Everything else is fine. Otherwise, you don't want them calling and they're like, hey, you owe us like $1 million for no apparent reason. You don't want that to happen to you. So it's very important to have somebody on your side, whether that's a fractional CFO, whether it's a financial consultant, all of those things like myself and my business offers, being able to kind of be an advocate for you in those first couple of years as you're getting your business spun up and ready, and somebody that knows the language to speak to your CPA about, and making sure that you are taken care of in the best way. Are you have the best tax planning structure, all of that. There's so many CPAs, and I have told a whole bunch of them, and I've had a lot of conversations with other people in the industry that they just kind of are the checklist people. They're like, yep, give us your forms, we'll check this off, here's a bill, congratulations, your taxes are done, you can pay us, and we'll see you next year. That's not what you want in a small business. You want a CPA that is there and understands you and understands which way your business wants to go, how they can help you from a tax perspective, of just saying, hey, maybe we need to look at some credits out here because you're hiring employees. There's all these credits available. You didn't know about them because they're quiet. It's quiet out there. The IRS doesn't want you to take the credits. They will offer them to you, but they're not like, hey, flashy lights, come get all these credits. And that's what you need in a CPA that can help understand what you need and knows all of those tax code rules to be able to provide those additional services. And so by having somebody be in that gap with you, it helps ensure that you are getting the most out of your CPA, as well as kind of keeping them accountable for all of the services that they can provide to you. The last part of looking into why you might want to fire your CPA is, are they even listening to you? How many times you might call them or go into a room with them and they just talk, and they don't want to hear anything that you have to hear. I've had instances where I had a CPA in the past that didn't like how I structured my company. And my thought was, I really don't care. I want to structure it a certain way. I talked to a legal advisor about how I structured it, and that's how I'm going to do it. And I understand that there's really good tax benefits from doing this. And I'm sorry it doesn't align with how you want things to be done, but this is how we're going to do it. And then I moved to a new CPA, and he was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome how you set things up. Now it allows you to get this, and this, and this, and so many great things. And so that's a key part of, you want a CPA that actually listens and hears and doesn't just talk. They may have three extra initials under on the end of their name. Whoop-de-doo, right? They went to a little bit more school than you, perhaps, maybe, and they took this test that's way too long, which I know because I took it and failed it. So congratulations to all the people that can actually sit through this ridiculously long test and want to know all of these tax codes out there. I mean, it's great. We need people like them, but you also need somebody, like I said, that can really hear your goals as an organization and make those tax codes fit in with those goals. So you can kind of think about the relationship of a CPA and a company is when you're looking at software, the developer and the project manager. A developer is just in the back coding, making sure everything's working, not necessarily really caring if what they're developing works overall for the company's goals and whatever. They're just making sure that all of the data works. It's in alignment with what is needed, and it also is meeting standards and compliance. Then you think of the project manager coming in and making sure that, hey, we're driving this, we got to get it here and here and here, and it's taking that developer and helping move them along the route and getting them to where what they're developing aligns with what the company needs. So you can think about that in the same way of how a CPA would work with you as a company, and also as that financial advocate for you, whether that's the fractional CFO or an accountant, somebody like myself coming in from a financial perspective and helping consult in this area. All right, so we reviewed a lot of technical terms today. We looked at a lovely 1099 form, which is the W-9. We walked through all of the steps that need to be filled out, and hopefully you got a good understanding of what's needed, how to understand the form from the tax perspective of things so that you know who needs to get these 1099s. It is a lot of information. I know it can be overwhelming, especially if you're just starting up and as we're moving into this tax season and it's kind of trying to get all of these things done, wrapped up, and things off to your CPA. But if you do have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me, Christy@ChristyBarber.com. Feel free to direct message me on any of my socials. And make sure to watch each week. I have new videos that come out to keep you up to speed with technology and all things accounting in the industry, and just making sure that you as a small business owner are current on all of these trends that are coming. So I appreciate all the follows. Make sure if you haven't followed yet to go in and click the button to subscribe so that you're up to date with all of the new videos that are coming out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.